Support comes from ServiceNow. AI is only as powerful as the platform it's built on. With ServiceNow AI platform, your AI, data, and workflows all work together, connecting every corner of your business. To see how you can put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com/AI-agents. Anyone have a question for Brad? Yeah, right there.
Well, we have somebody with a
We have a mic coming just so it translates to the interweb.
Okay, first, I want you to know I'm wearing this hat ironically. Okay,
No, don't say that.
Musetti had a great tournament. People love him. He's flying the lonely flag for the one-hander. Doesn't have a place at the top level of tennis.
It's less of a place, in my opinion, and we'll get to Brad. I think returning has become so important, and I think with the new strings, right, the poly strings, which I for those at home, I always explain it. It basically, if you were to take an expert bowler and give them a foot on each side, bigger lane, they'd be able to come up with new spins. They would miss a lot less. That's how I equate. You give the best tennis artists in the world, a new toy to play with. All of a sudden, they can hold passing shots to the last second. That's why serve and volley is dead. Everyone can take full swings on a return, so it's not that chip anymore. So I think it's a lot tougher. I think you have to be like an otherworldly talent, like a Fed, right, where like the ball just melts into your string bed, and then all of a sudden you're neutral. I don't see like a huge comeback for one-handers. I don't think something's going to happen where all of a sudden 50 out of the top 100 have single-handers again. I think there's space for an outlier, but I don't think it's coming back.
Well, it's amazing that he's played well here because he had zero form. He'd won one match since the French.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I want to see? I hope I see it in my lifetime. I don't understand why two-handers all got one-hand ability. I want to see it.
What do you mean by that?
If you're a two-hander, right, it's kind of unusual if you don't have a decent slice, or some even two-handers have a really good slice, and so they have the use of one hand. I want to see a hybrid player.
You want to see someone return with two hands?
I want to see somebody return with two hands, like really good, be able to handle a high ball with two hands, because that's the biggest problem when you're a kid learning for a one-handed backhand. It's so much more difficult to return with one hand, and when they hit the high lob, it's miserable.
Is the game too fast to switch grips and recognize that?
Why not? Why can a two go to one? So why not be able to go and then off the rally be able to have?
You've worked with too many good players.
I think it's possible. I really do. That's the one I want to see, that somebody potentially could maybe do the use of two, and one, opposed to the.
So you steal a benefit from each one.
Yeah, I don't. But you asked about the guy's chances. What makes me think? Rafa just destroyed guys with one-handers. So I'm not liking his shot against Sinner with that one-handed backhand.
Right here. Thank you.
As a player and as a coach, what is the threshold for an injury before you pull the ripcord, call a withdrawal?
I'll give my opinion first. There's hurt and there's injured, right? Hurt is like tendonitis. Your elbow's throbbing, but there's a very low likelihood that the injury is worse, right? Where you're causing yourself a six-month injury instead of a 4-day injury, right? Like pain is fine. Risk for a bigger injury, I think, is where it enters the equation to pull the ripcord, at least from where I was sitting, right? If you have a groin pull and all of a sudden you feel it, you don't want to tear it, right? Whereas if your elbow's throbbing but it's because of overuse, then it's a little bit different. I don't know. Where was that line for you?
I'm probably the worst to ask about this because one of those.
Didn't you pull a calf muscle in the clinic last year?
I ripped my hamstring, remember, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm about the worst to ask about this because it's a quirky stat. I played over 820 matches in my ATP career. And you know how many times I pulled a ripcord?
0?
Nil. So, and I played through a lot of things. But part of becoming a player to a coach is I learned from Andre that probably a bunch of times it was stupid what I did because it cost me
months.
It cost me like maybe peaking and doing the right way. I do get totally annoyed now about players pulling a ripcord in the middle of a match and then they play next week.
I agree with that.
It's a really weird thing that like a guy is pulling a ripcord in the third round, a fourth round, and then literally it wasn't that bad that you could play next week, or you're playing the doubles the next day. There should be a rule against that. If you pull out of a match, you can't play next week. But when you, like Ben Shelton, for him to do what he did, he knew it must have been bad, that maybe it is only going to be a 3 weeks. It's a strain. But if he tried to push through that for that one match, or maybe to do better.
His entire livelihood is his left shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, guy throws gas. Like, you have to.
That's making a wise decision, but I was that dummy that I would have still played through it.
Does it matter what round it is?
Yes.
No matter what, for me, because when you played like me, there was, you didn't think about tomorrow. You only thought about today. And literally, I grew up just battling. And I wouldn't worry about tomorrow, honestly.
I fully disagree. If you're Ben Shelton, respectfully, if you're Ben Shelton, and we saw the fourth set. If you were watching,
no, he did. I'm saying he did the right thing.
No, I know, but I do think there's a difference where it's like, if Ben Shelton has that thing and he has to get through one match, and there's a lot of Advil available, and it's like, I have to win 3 sets in a major, and is that worth potential damage? My answer is yes. Is it a realistic situation? And obviously you get a scan and you know what you're dealing with and everything else. But if you have to navigate 5 rounds of a major and you're compromised for 12 days, that's a very different scenario. That's a very different timeline in my mind than let it rip tater chip for 3 hours.
You know what? Like 97% of the ripcords and injury timeouts is when the player's losing. So, but when you see a guy like Joker pull out like in Australia in a semis, and he knew, or you saw it with Shelton, then you obviously understand the big picture, because they're playing to win slams. A lot of players are playing to play 40 weeks a year, and so every week is about a paycheck, and you're week to week. So there's a lot of players that are in different, I call they're in areas and points of their career. So that does matter. But when you see a guy, like Djokovic, or you see a guy like what Ben Shelton had to do, they're thinking big picture. And sometimes if you forget that big picture, it can cost you a lot more time, which changes the big picture.
Yeah. Let's do 2 more questions right there, and then we'll let Brad get on his way. He's got to call some tennis matches
there's
tonight.
a pullout tonight now. Did you hear this?
Oh, what happened?
Oh. Are you
Breaking.
I just saw it like a text. So it looks like Vondrousova pulled out.
Against Sabalenka.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if people are on their cell. They can confirm it. So I think
it's confirmed right here.
We got time.
Yeah. So
settle in.
I think they're scrambling now on who they're going to put on if they're going to have a match.
Put
only
Venus and
Venus-
Layla Fernandez on Stadium Court.
All
Let's
right.
go.
They're playing right now.
All right. Let's get to the.
I don't care. Move them.
Let's get to the question.
All right, two more questions.
That's tough to follow, but I know it's been a minute since we've had a U.S. man win.
Oh, I thought we were going to make it.
So I was kind of curious. I know Fritz is playing tonight, but if you guys had to bet who might be the next U.S. man to win a U.S. Open tournament, I'd be curious to hear who you might think it'd be and why.
I kind of have thoughts, and it benefits no one if I say those things out loud. They have to be as sick of hearing about it as I am talking about it. So I wouldn't do that. There would be, newspaper candy the next day. It's just not worth it. What I will say is I'll take the opportunity to say this is not the same as when I stopped, right? And we have 4, 6. We had 23 men in the main draw of the U.S. Open. There is momentum. Tommy Paul's been in the semis of a slam. France has been in the semis of 2. Ben Shelton's been in the tail end of slams. Fritz has been in the finals. He's been in the semis. We're like, if we were going uphill for a while trying to answer that question, I feel like we actually have some momentum on our side for maybe the first time in a long, not the first time in a long time, but as much as we've had in a long time. So I'll choose the positive. I think they're doing great. And the women are fucking amazing. Like 4 straight slam finals with American women representation. So you can answer that if you want to.
Well, just for clarity, for the record, I'll speak for you. He would like nothing more than for that no longer to be a trivia question. So this is not the 72 Dolphins here.
So I feel like Fritz is getting close. I feel like Sinner and Alcaraz are going to wipe out a lot of generation. It's like what the big three did.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, and I'm really annoyed that Sinner's not an American. I mean, it's like a German guy, an Austrian. Learn to speak German. He lives there at a ski. Shouldn't he have grown up in L.A.? Maybe
I don't know. You know what? I think we can all just be happy that Spain finally has a good male tennis player, right? Like, thank God they waited hours.
But you know what? If like last year, Alcaraz lost to Vandersloot. I do think.
Try that again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
That's Tracy's tongue twister.
Yeah. Vandersloot. Remember,
We're missing a syllable.
And his antelope.
Yeah. So if a major does happen where you get something happen, one quirky one, where Alcaraz happens to lose, maybe one of them gets injured. There is a window, but I feel like honestly, if the next 10 majors, if literally nothing happens to Alcaraz and Sinner, what would you put the over-under on them winning the next 10?
All 10?
Yeah.
I mean, you almost have to bite your lip, and you can't believe how good they are. I was sitting courtside today watching Alcaraz, and Lehechka is a good player. That guy is a good player, and he just made him look like it was, just a first-round match. So it's up to the guys to get better. But if I had to pick one guy and coach one guy, that I feel like he has the best chance, it's Shelton. Because he has the biggest game, and he's athletic. So I if he's a stock, I put a buy rating on that.
All right, last question. We had one. There you go.
You like the buy rating on that?
I buy rating on Shelton for sure. Yeah, I love Ben.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. Andy, back after you split with Brad, I remember your game seemed to change a bit. You spin your forehands, going to the net more.
Yep.
Curious of how much of that was strategic versus maybe injury or something else. And Brad, I'm curious if you had kept working with Andy, what would you have changed in his game?
Well, we're a minute over. This is going to take 27 minutes and and a box of Kleenex. So it wasn't immediately like people like to make the split like. It was later, but there was some stuff where I probably became a little too obsessed with my weaknesses as opposed to spending time on my strengths. I've said it before in this podcast. I had never spoken about it. I had a tear in my shoulder in 2008 where I had to kind of completely renegotiate a swing path. So lost a bunch of weight and started running a lot more. It was spinnier, all the while having the talking heads going, I don't understand why it's spinnier. It did me no good to talk about it. Right. The book was going to be out on it soon enough. You could see it from where you were sitting, but maybe that's a 6-month delay. And so it was probably maybe the answer is both. There's no doubt that the best I hit it was when I was with Brad.
So I'll just very simple, and I would tell him I think it was in Indianapolis, that if the rally goes longer than 5 shots on your serve, pull a ripcord. You're giving too much rhythm. Remember, I would say that a lot. Don't get in any extended rallies on your serve because you're just taking rhythm. And we really focus on you being a lot bolder on your second serve.
Big, yeah.
Yeah, and so he could go through a set where all of a sudden it was what Pete would do to players. You would feel like uncomfortable, that you wouldn't get any rhythm, and you could lose a 29-minute set. So I felt like I didn't want to think about any of the negatives in Andy's game. It was the positive that he could steal a quick set. And I would tell him that a lot. Pull a ripcord on this point.
Brad Gilbert, everyone.
Did they put the Venus doubles on? Did they listen to you?
No, I think they're on. I don't think they're listening to the show live, Brad. The powers that be at the U.S. Open. Brad,
Thank you,
you're
buddy.
always the best to listen to. I'll walk out with you. Thank you for watching Served. We appreciate you. Thank you to our partners at Amazon Prime. Okay, watch that first step, BG.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll be right out. JW, producer Mike, Social Sophie somewhere, Techie Sean somewhere. Thank you to Amazon again. We appreciate you.
guys.
It's been Served. Thanks to ServiceNow for their support. ServiceNow wants to help people do the fulfilling work they actually want to do. Work like hosting this podcast. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business. IT, HR, and more. So your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Get started at servicenow.com/AI-agents.